Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good thing to say I dabbled in stand-up for something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Chrissie Mayr podcast. You can listen to this podcast on really everywhere. iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin, Twitter, Twitch. Did I say Facebook? Is anyone even using Facebook? I guess you are if you're 80 plus years old, or if you're checking in to see how much weight the people you went to high school gained. I know that's what I use it for. Before I bring in my fabulous guest and my dear friend, I'm doing stand-up comedy. That's right. If you guys live in the Westchester area, you are in luck because you will be able to see my first headlining show back after giving birth. It's going to be next month, July 20th, Saturday, July 20th, in Mount Kisco in Westchester at this little venue called Jazz on Main. There's going to be two shows, I think a 7 o'clock and a 9 or a 9:30. And my hilarious friend Keanu Thompson will be opening for me. So not back on the road yet, but and I'll be doing some smaller spots to get the rust off before July 20th. But yes, I believe there is a ticket link. If we let's go to Jazz on Main. Do they have a website? I think they do. Hey, I think they do. I think they're having upcoming shows. Great if you like jazz. Okay. Let's see. No. There I am. Wow, look at that. Let's pull it up. Bing, 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 bing. They used a very up-close picture of my face. That's fine. Look how intense I look. I look like a wild animal. Oh, yes. $94. What situation would you do a $94 ticket? Is that just you're on the stage with me, sitting in my lap? Oh, that's dinner. Okay. If you're going to do dinner before, that makes sense. Oh, look at that. Go to jazzonmain.com to get tickets. Look at that. I guess if you really want to sit on stage with me, I could think of a tier for that. Probably not a good idea. Deranged Lunatic, thanks for becoming a new member. Thank you, sir. Guys, you know her. You love her. I don't need to recite her long bio because you guys know her and love her. Melanie Mac, welcome back to the show.
I'm so happy to be here. I missed you.
I miss you too. I genuinely really miss you. It's getting to be like summertime again, and people start talking about, anime matsuri, and then I think about all my Texas trips. Like I was going out to Texas like 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a year.
Yeah,
a couple of years there. So I'm just like I'm really missing it. But
mom duties. It's important. You're doing a great job, though.
Thank you. Mom duties. He's sucking the life out of me. Who knows? I'm thinking, I don't know at what point I'm going to have to figure out if I need to get a boob job or not. I haven't seen how they look in an actual real bra in a while because you have to wear basically kind of like unflattering stuff you can whip a boob out in. I mean, I guess you can whip a boob out in any bra.
You could. But I think you'll be fine. I don't think you're going to need a boob job. You already had huge tits. This will be fine.
I have read that the saggy gals are ones that were small to begin with, and they somehow got gigantic boobs as a pregnant woman. So we'll see.
Right. So, yeah, time will tell, but I think you're good to go.
Oh, thanks, Melanie. And I guess I gave Anna the pregnancy bug as well
You
because
did. I am
yeah,
so excited for her. Oh
it's
my
really
goodness.
yeah, she's gonna find out the gender, I think this Saturday. I don't know if she's gonna tell the world,
Okay.
but
Hopefully it's not a they them.
I know. Oh my god, and I
It's
was
a
like
them. Ah!
yeah. She I was like I told her, I'm like, "You have to be okay with whatever comes out, like, do not set yourself up to be disappointed if it's not, but she wants a boy because she's a Star Wars
Oh,
nerd,
yeah.
and
But,
she
I
grew up
mean, that's the thing,
yeah.
even if she has a girl, though, that girl can be like her and still have the same hobbies as her, you know?
Yeah, and if even if she has a girl, she can always trans her.
That too. I mean, it's 2024.
Yikes. No, there will be no transing, that's obviously a joke. Junior already thinks she's gonna have a daughter. I think so too. That's my guess. I think anytime
Cool.
you have somebody who really wants one, they're gonna get the other. I just think that's just how it works. Frank seems to think that having a girl is like for boys, it's like some kind of if you're a guy and you have a girl,
Mhm.
and like guys in the chat, tell me if you agree with this, that it's some sort of payback from fuck boy activities in your youth.
Well, I think what it is with a lot of men who are scared to have girls is they're just scared she's gonna be a whore, and there's nothing they can do about it, you know what I
Oh.
mean? There's always that fear for a lot of dads. So
There's definitely something you can do about it, like, be in her life. I don't all you have
well,
to do
yeah,
is, like, like,
be in her life. There's still
talk to her
some
about
weird
her feelings.
anomalies, though, that
That's true.
sadly.
It's the pimp curse. Thank you, Erica, the pimp curse. Yeah.
Oh, the pimp curse. Well, yeah, my dad, he was never into the F-boy life. He Well, he had 1 girl, me, and then 2 boys, so maybe it
Oh,
is a thing, I don't
are you the
know.
oldest?
I'm the middle.
You're the middle.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as middle child syndrome.
Oh gosh, I've got it bad. The
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Oh.
That's what I mean, I'm the only one in my family with tattoos and, like, I feel like I'm the different one in my family, even though, I mean, we all have a lot of the same shared values and stuff like that, but in terms of I'm still the different one. You know?
The black sheep, the tattooed
Yeah, a
sheep.
little bit, yeah.
Has anybody in your family, asked you about your fake, lewds or your fake nudes that have been
Thankfully,
circulating?
no, I'm so glad because that would just be such a bummer if they thought something like that was real, but fortunately, my family, parents and brothers, they don't live on the internet. We kinda have to with our job and stuff. Plus, it's just like, I don't know, we're just in with what's going on everywhere. But for them, it's just they live their lives. They might watch a YouTube video here and there about what's going on in the world, but other than that, they're like playing video
Okay,
games
good,
and
good.
chilling on the
They're
farm, things like that.
they're doing normal people things. Okay, good. 'Cause
Yeah.
I wish that, like, if we were doing my other show on Compound Media, I would pull up my fake nudes to make you feel better because I feel like this happens to so many people. I feel like it's really a sign that you've made it, Melanie.
I
Yeah.
swear. I still think that they would know though, because those, first of all, they were pretty bad shoops.
They're not
Second of
done
all, they're
well. No.
completely different body types than what I have. I mean, very endowed, a lot more than, yeah, a lot curvier than I am. So I think that for the most part, most people who saw them could tell they were fake, but couple of like old people couldn't tell the
Because
difference.
the poses is particularly when you're showing off your sleeve tattoo, so you're not in a provocative pose, and
I
they tried to take that
know.
pose and make it look like you're that's not how a naked person would pose, you know?
I know. Yeah, so that was insane. I did tell my mom about it though later because like when it was happening, I was like, "Oh my goodness,
Oh,
this
no.
is so stupid." And And I was like, oh, by the way, Mom, I just had to handle something because people were posting fake nudes of me. Mom's like, oh, they would do that?
Oh,
They
you're
poor
like,
mom
"Mom,
doesn't
you
know
speak
how
from
bad
her child."
I
Yes.
know.
Welcome
I
to
like
the internet. I my fake nudes, like, I almost didn't wanna shut them down because I was like, "Whoever's body this is, it's great." Like, whoever's boobs they used to, like, glue on top of mine, like, awesome. Like, those are not my nipples, but God God bless whoever they were. And you know what? It's almost like because I took a couple bathing suit photos, they would, like, erase the bathing suit and then, like,
Right.
use, like, the skin colored eraser, and then, I don't know, some kind of a nipple graphic, nipple clip art. I don't know what the kids are doing
Well, that's
these
the thing is
days.
they always move the goalposts so much too, because then it's like, then when people are calling them out, or when I say that's obviously Photoshop, you liar, you lost all your credibility trying to pass these off as real. And then they're like, oh, sorry, I couldn't tell the difference. And then they post old pictures of me literally swimming in a swimsuit. It's like,
Right.
that's a lot. That is not the same thing as posing for lewd photos. People go to the beach, people go to the pool. Not everybody not everybody wears a burqa to the pool.
I and I thought a lot about this because I feel like you're one of these people that gets unfairly, overly targeted. I think Anna is also one of these people too. I
She
know,
does.
and I try to figure out, like, why it is, and why can't someone who is a follower of Jesus and a follower of Christ and someone who walks the walk, like you do. Why do you get such intense scrutiny? It's like people get on you for your tattoos, and then same thing, they'll find pictures of you. You happen to be in a bathing suit. You're not
Right.
like twerking. You're not bending over. Like there's a difference. We all know
Exactly.
there's a difference between like being in a bathing suit and doing like a come and get it photo shoot.
Exactly. I think it's a combination of things. I mean, on the one side, when it comes to more of the heathen haters, their demons are mad, and so they're nitpicking at any little thing they can find to try to hate on me. And then sometimes you have the overly almost, what do you call it, like tradition, ritualistic, this, that, and the other, on the Christian side. And I think that and the Bible does teach against that. We're not supposed to be righteous in our own eyes. Obviously, we're supposed to follow the Bible. I shouldn't be trying to make people lust, which I don't.
Hmm.
And I do follow the Bible. And anywhere where I ever fall short, I pray that God will show me that. And I read the Bible every day so that I can live by it. But some people do take it to a level where they think that all girls have to be wearing these like super cover up, these dresses that are down to your ankles and all this stuff, more like kind of like the Mennonite type dress
Oh
style, or
yeah.
like don't wear makeup, don't do this, don't do that. Meanwhile, Queen Esther wore makeup. She spent a whole year getting all made up, all this sort of stuff. So it's like I think that sometimes people can go a little too far on like rituals, on appearances, and when the Bible doesn't teach that. Granted, I think that if somebody feels like, hey, if they don't feel comfortable wearing the exact same stuff I do, then they shouldn't wear it. If they feel like they are sinning and doing so, they shouldn't do it. But at the same time, you can't push all of your personal convictions onto everybody if they're not in the Bible.
Right. So I don't think in the Bible it's like thou cannot wear a two-piece, you
To
know.
while you're swimming. Yeah, exactly. And when the Bible does talk about lust and things of that nature, Jesus ultimately tells us to check ourselves. Like, hey, don't look at somebody with lust. Don't lust after somebody. We can't control what the entire world is going to do, what the entire world is going to wear, this, that, and the other. But it's up to us to don't seek that out. Don't watch it. Don't lust after somebody. If you see somebody and you're like, oh, and you think you might start to lust, then like
Hmm.
avert from it, like control yourself. There is no specific dress code in the Bible for anybody. That being said, a lot of it really falls down to intent. You shouldn't be trying to make people lust after you unless they're your spouse. But yeah, that's That's the way I
I
see
have
it.
not I have definitely not been trying to make Frank lust after me. In fact, I feel like I've been doing the opposite. I feel like if you
Well,
would do a fast forward through the last 2 months, my outfits have not been on point. I did last Simcast in my pajama shirt that I slept in the night before. Like, this is the most I put on makeup. Like, if I don't have
well,
an
I
interview to
mean,
do, I don't wear makeup.
you're a mom, you're taking care of your baby, you're nursing, and you're working at the same time. I mean, you've got a whole lot on your plate right now.
I appreciate that, and I like kind of the reminder, and I think this is in the Bible that I should be reading more of instead of just like watching your channel where you discuss the Bible. But I like the idea that it is a two-way street. I think it's easy for people to get mad at the
Mhm.
lusty and not the luster, and it's like
Right.
it's 50-50. You cannot just
Exactly.
slut shame and like I have grace for women who, you know what, they make money, their income is they make it off their bodies. I know how easy it is to make money just off of that. Like you would think eventually, all right, they're gonna have a plan for themselves when they get older. Um, just because it's kind of like you're expendable if your income is off of something that is time sensitive, like your looks are.
I think it's a
Um,
sad thing. Like they should be pursuing other avenues, and at the same time, the men shouldn't be partaking in that. The men shouldn't be funding that. It's definitely a two-way street because a lot of guys will they love to call out the horse, but they are if they're also watching this stuff, purchasing this stuff, then they're just as guilty. you know?
hmm.
So I mean that's my take on it. I think that I think it's really sad where society has gotten. I think part of that is because the feminist movement has been empowering, so acting like it's empowering for these women to sell their bodies, when honestly, that is just about the lowest form of making money or just living as a woman as you possibly can do. It's for a lot of times it used to be an act of desperation, which still isn't a
Hmm.
good thing, but that used to be what it is. But the fact that it's gotten so normalized, it's like, we're seeing, I just saw on Twitter today, this girl who's like, oh, I've got my degree in nursing and this, that, and the other. But guess what she's doing as a job? She's an OF model. She's selling pictures of her butthole on the internet. And it's like, you are equipped to be a nurse and to do that. But instead, you're being a prostitute for a living. You are choosing the most degrading thing that you can do for yourself with all of that. And it's sad. I think that there is a path to redemption. I don't think once somebody does that or anything that they're doomed forever. Now they do have a reputation that's going to follow them, and it's going to be tough when they're looking for jobs, when they're looking for people to marry, this, that, and the other. But there is redemption through Jesus Christ with that, and with anything else, anything that I call out in terms of what's sin in the world. It doesn't matter. You can come to Jesus and you can be washed clean and you can change your life through Jesus.
And also, how many different poses can you really put your butthole in? Let's think about it. How many different looks can there really be? Someone has to be either faith motivated or they have, but that's the thing is that's what the problem is that these women, they know they do it because they can make more money doing OnlyFans than pursuing their nursing degree. Like this chick, Allie Ray, was one of the
Right.
first people I interviewed who was like, I got fired from my nursing job and because I was also doing OnlyFans, and now fuck it, I'm just doing OnlyFans full time and I'm making way, way more. And I remember like back in college, like the girls that were majoring in nursing, I was kind of jealous. I was like, wow, like they're
Right.
set for a life because whatever it is 20 years ago when I was in college, like that was one of the fields. So like you'll always have a job in nursing, you'll always have a job in health, in the health industry or finance or whatever. And none of us saw the OnlyFans thing coming. But again, you have to be either faith motivated, like you have to have some kind of come to Jesus moment, or you have to have the foresight to know like, oh, that this line of work is not going to um get me the kind of like potential guys I want to date or like
Right. Even beyond that
marry.
though, it's like it's hurting. Yeah, it's like hurting your own soul. And it's like, at what point is money worth that kind of transaction? At what point is it worth it just because, oh, I'm making a lot of money, but you're losing yourself. You're degrading yourself for it. At what point is it worth trading in your dignity for a wad of cash? I feel like I would rather live under a bridge and than do something like that. I would rather
I
obviously I'd take
I
any other
think it's
regular
really
job.
I think it's really death by 1,000 cuts because if you're full of love from your family, if you have like self-esteem and which I really struggled with all throughout my 20s, like
Right.
self-esteem, self-worth. Part of it was my relationship with my dad, but part of it, like, you can't just at a certain point, you can't just blame everything on your daddy issues. I
Right.
feel like it makes you look kind of stupid. Like you have to pick yourself up and do the work of, raising yourself through adulthood where your parents sort of, maybe missed a few spots. But um oh god, I had a point with this. It's you have to take the momentary. Oh, this is why I kind of fully blame feminism and death by 1,000 cuts, right? Because if
Right.
you're not going into, like, your adulthood full of love and self-worth and you go, "Oh, I feel, like, kind of a rush of adrenaline. I know I have this power over men if I focus on my looks and, like,
Right.
you know what to do to get attention. Plus it's easy money. Plus you don't have anything pulling you in the opposite direction of faith or of, like, what's right." And plus there's the money aspect too. It's little by little, I think it can
Yeah.
chip away. You think, "Oh, why would you sell your soul like that?" It happens little by little.
That's a good point. It's like boiling a frog. And this is, and for those who don't know the term, it's not going to know you're boiling it when you first put it in the water. The water slowly gets warm, and before you know it, that frog is boiled and dead. That goes with all sin. People think that they can dabble into something innocently. Oh, just in moderation. I'm just going to do this. And before they know it, they are so deep in the trenches of it and they're so far gone. I mean, they can be redeemed, but just saying, like, you can go down some really dark paths. And it's sad. And I think in regard to the whole, like, these women selling their bodies and this, that, and the other, this is where feminism really fails women. And it just sucks because feminism could be a tool to help women, but instead it is turned into this giant corrupt thing. But what if feminism was instead saying, hey, girls, this is not an empowering thing to do. You don't have to degrade
Mm.
yourself for money. You can do a number of other things. You deserve better than this. You shouldn't have to sell your body just to pay your bills. But sadly, feminism has just gone off the rails and it's a pretty terrible thing in its current state.
And then there's girls that would look you straight in the eye and be like, "I don't feel demeaned by this. I feel empowered." And it's like, well, you can't tell them they're wrong. I guess you'd have to just
Right.
wait
And
for
m-
something to happen.
maybe they do feel that way. But that doesn't mean that it's right. When somebody like a serial killer is murdering people, they feel great. They feel empowered. Doesn't make it okay. And that's why we can't just
Oh,
trust our feelings on
yeah.
things. Yeah.
God, did you see God, this is, like, horrible, I'm definitely not gonna pull up, like, footage of it or anything, but there was
Mhm.
a woman who, like, stabbed, a
That
3-year-old,
three-year-old. Oh
and
my,
then
the way
and
she
then
was
they cut
smiling.
to her in the court or whatever, or, like, when they're doing the hearing, and she had this, like, sick smile on her face, and she's laughing, and I was like, "Oh," when you said something before that was really interesting, you said, like, their someone's demons were,
Mad.
you
Yeah.
mad, and I was like, that's an interesting way to put it when you think of it in terms of, like, your demons are kind of like you think of them as somebody, like, steering the wheel a little bit. The demons are in the car, you just gotta make sure they're not steering the wheel, and hopefully you can eventually, like, kick them out of the car entirely.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. I really think that her reaction to that and smiling and all that, that's demonic. That's not human to act like that. In her case, stabbing and murdering a 3-year-old child, and she's smiling about it. That is from Satan. That's evil. That is just disgusting. Not normal.
Yeah, like, how is that possible? Yeah, like, it's like,
Yeah.
I get maybe someone's on drugs or something or, like, God, I don't know, but s I can imagine someone's in shock or maybe they're neutral about it, like, not showing remorse, but to be, like, happy like that can only be, that can only be a demon. I don't get how that's humanly
Mhm.
possible. Um And then there's the idea of these kind of girls that we've seen go viral recently. Like everyone was talking about Nala.
Right.
She got a lot of attention and some viral clips from being on the whatever podcast.
Mhm.
And then suddenly similar to who was that gal who created the makeup line? She's like a tattoo artist.
Oh, Kat Von D?
Kat Von D, yeah.
Mhm.
She was on this Blaze show. What's her name? Oh my god, I'm such a boomer. This is like pregnancy brain gone to mom brain. There's a blonde gal who has a show on the Blaze, and she had Kat Von D was on her show. So it's
Mhm.
Kat Von D, it's this chick Nala, and a lot of these girls have become viral through, oh, now I've had this come to Jesus moment.
Mhm.
I'm turning to Jesus. I'm turning over a new leaf. And then what does the internet do? Oh, this is fake. We don't believe it. We have to see more, I guess, proof to really believe it. And then you have someone like, the pearls of the internet going, well, oh, look at Nala's OnlyFans. Saying she had raised the price after she had done the Michael Knowles interview, saying that they're lying, they're not really changing their ways. Why do you think it's easy for people to go, oh, this is Christian grifting? Why do you think it's hard for some folks to just
Mhm.
believe someone has genuinely changed?
Well, firstly, I think most of the people who are saying such things aren't Christian. They aren't saved by Jesus themselves. So they don't have a comprehension of the grace of Jesus Christ because they're not saved. And so those of us who have been saved by grace, we understand, hey, none of us are perfect. All of us have a past. All of us fall short. And we're so grateful for the sacrifice of Jesus Christ and that we were able to be saved. And so when we see somebody else who becomes saved, we understand it because it's like, okay, well, I was saved. So in this case with Nala, obviously you'll know people by their fruits and time will tell for certain. But I think so far she's not giving any indication to say that she wasn't saved because here's a woman who was making she made over $9 million on OnlyFans. She by stopping her OnlyFans, which by the way, she increased the price and kept it up for a little bit because she had to. She took down all the content on it, but until the rest of the month paying subscribers had ended, like you can't just take it down when someone could have subscribed like last week and then not get their money's worth out of it. So she was able to delete the content, and she couldn't delete the actual OnlyFans until after that. So then once she deleted that, I'm just going to say from like a business perspective and a grifting perspective, it wouldn't make any sense. There is no way she's going to make even remotely a fraction of the amount of money as a Christian content creator as she would continuing that OnlyFans content. So, in terms of, oh, it's all about the grift, it doesn't make sense from a business standpoint. And then also, if people are like, oh, well, she's doing this because she's all washed up now and she's looking for a husband, she already found a husband. Um, so I do think, I mean, this is definitely after seeing a lot of what she's spoken of, talking about her history and talking about how she grew up and talking about scripture. She definitely knows the word of God. She definitely knows a lot about the Bible. And I'm definitely of the impression that her conversion was genuine. Now, if there's anything else down the line that can indicate otherwise, we'll see and assess that as it happens. But so far, there hasn't been any of that.
What do you because she was, let's see, she was a pastor's daughter.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think happens? Because she certainly has a baseline, a foundation of
Right.
knowledge in the faith,
Right.
and then maybe has her kind of like adolescence, her kind of acting out, you know, I wanna be my own person, and then what
Mhm.
kind of do you think, like, what usually happens in cases like this? Do you think it's a moment or like a dream or what usually I mean, like, it's probably different for everybody, but
Right.
does it have to be like a rock bottom moment or can it be like a subtle
It can be
nudging?
a progression, and that's the thing is once you start dabbling into sin. Sin can't be contained. So once you start dabbling into it, validating
Mhm.
it spirals out of control as you continue
Wow.
down that path. And like the Bible talks about, the prodigal son, for example, who goes away, but then Jesus will still, like, if you come back, Jesus will still accept you back into the fold. So and I believe that's what happened in her case. And I don't know exactly all of her experience, but I know for myself, thank God I didn't go down super down the bad path. But I did go through a phase where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I called myself agnostic, and I kind of rebelled against my faith, even though, and that's exactly what it was. It was a rebellion because I was still living mostly like my values were instilled in me, because it's really hard to venture from that. Not completely, not totally, obviously, uh but yeah, I still had that instilled in me, and those values never left. Like, I wasn't going to go out partying. I wasn't going to go out and be promiscuous, because that stuff would have felt icky to me, even though I was trying to rebel. But in my case, what was the catalyst for me? I stopped reading the Bible, I stopped praying. Fellowship with God daily is so important for Christians if you want to keep your faith strong.
Mm.
If you neglect that, I mean, if you don't eat, you're eventually going to be sickly and skinny. So if you don't feed your soul through Bible and prayer on a daily basis, eventually you're going to be sick in that area as well. And so that's kind of what started it for me. And then I started dating outside the faith. I started, okay, here I've my first serious relationship was with an atheist.
Mm.
And I think for a lot of people it's easy to think, especially as a Christian, because there's so few, narrow is the path to heaven. And there's so few who, plenty of people say they're Christians, but who actually live a Christian lifestyle, or um, actually saved. There's not a whole lot. And so when it can be discouraging when it comes to dating, for example, or looking for a spouse, because it's like, well, I have hardly any options. And then you want to factor in, you want to be attracted to somebody, you want to get along with that person, this, that, and the other. And it feels like, in my case, I compromised. I started dating an atheist. I got in a serious relationship with an atheist. And the Bible tells us as Christians not to be unequally yoked with non believers. And I truly believe that, because even when I started dating this atheist at that time, I was still calling myself a Christian. Um, but eventually, slowly but surely, again, like boiling a frog, I started more and more distancing myself, and then before you knew it, I went through a rebellious phase against my faith. So in her case, I would imagine it probably was something more or less along those lines. She started dabbling into sin or making exceptions of things, and this is why it's so important to accept the Bible as complete truth. And that's something that whenever I came back to my faith, I had to tell myself, it doesn't, like, the Bible is truth. God's way is truth. We need a firm foundation. We can't rely on our feelings. If I see something and I'm like, I don't think I would do it that way, that doesn't matter. I'm not God. And so that's what really changed my life, is reading the Bible every single day and realizing that, hey, this is that firm foundation. I'm not going to rely on feelings for morality. I'm not going to rely on subjective morality. We have objective morality in the Bible. And so whenever you start making exceptions for this, that, or the other, then before you know it, you can really go down a dark path.
That's a good point. Like, it's just a little sin is gonna lead you to more sin.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, it's just one dip in the hot tub with this other couple. Oh, it's just one
Yeah.
bump of Coke." These are just examples. I'm not referencing anything specifically, of course,
Right.
but, um, and, like, you have to keep yourself in check, and it makes sense because when Frank and I got married, I was
Mhm.
raised Methodist, he's raised Catholic, and I'm thinking like, "Oh, I've never even dated a Jewish person or really an
Right.
agnostic," but I don't know if that was conscious or not, but, to get married in the Catholic Church, they're big on you have to be baptized, which I was already, and, um, and if either of us had been married before, it would be a no-go. So I felt really lucky that like we were able to do that. And I
Right.
kind of I liked having to jump through a bunch of different hoops and like
And that ceremony was beautiful. That was such a great wedding.
it was awesome. And we did a church wedding the month before, but we thought to do it like, with our regular wedding, but we didn't want to put everybody through
Right.
going to like multiple venues. But the same guy did it, like the
Oh,
same
he was
deacon did
great.
the church one who did the one that everybody was at the Bear Mountain. Yeah, it was really awesome. I think you're such a great role model because I think a lot of people rebel because they look at their church, growing up, they think they don't really see the Bible kind of in
Mhm,
action. It just seems like an old dusty like book to them. And
mhm.
I can see when you're young and it's like, oh, well, this seems kind of boring and I don't really see like
Yeah.
God's words in action or relevant to your life. That's why I think someone like you is so important, like of an example to put out there because you're kind of like doing it your way. You're not a cookie cutter. You're not just like tearing around in like a paisley dress in a cornfield.
Right. And that's
Like
the
you're
thing.
edgy, you have a good look, like you're your own person.
That's
You're
yeah, and that's
funny.
the thing is the Bible, when we see time and time again examples of who God used in the Bible, he used some very rough around the edges people in the Bible. He wasn't using the Pharisees who gave this air of being self-righteous and perfect and this and that. And so he used people who definitely were unsuspecting to be doing the things that they were doing and leading people to God and on His mission. And so that's how I try to be. I don't want to give this air that I'm self righteous. Uh, Obviously, I'm not going to be justifying any sin, or I'm not going to be doing things that are. I'm not going to be promoting sin, and I don't want to. I still believe like, okay, yeah, modesty is important, but modesty doesn't mean you have to be covered up to here and down to your ankles and stuff. I consider when I wear modest, it's cute, but I'm not showing any
Right.
sensitive parts. Some people
You
would
know what to
consider
do.
this
You know where the
immodest,
line
but I
is.
don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, and there's no specific, it's yeah, it's just one of those things to where it's like, okay, yeah, this is me, this is who I am. I have these tattoos. I don't look like somebody who and a lot of what we see, and I think that there are some really great Bible channels if people want to dress like that or dress ultra, ultra, ultra conservative, this and that. Good for them. If they feel they need to dress like that, they should. But there are people who don't do that as well, and that's fine. Because here's the thing is I feel like trying to reach the world, trying to reach the lost, it's gonna be a lot more difficult if I'm
Mhm.
presenting myself as this self-righteous person and if I were to do so, then I think that my channel would only reach other Christians. And that's not my mission. My mission isn't just to preach to the choir. I'm trying to reach people who aren't saved. I'm trying to reach people who maybe strayed from their faith and then can come back. Some people think, wait, but I can't if I'm a Christian, can I play video games? Can I play Doom? Can I play this, that, or the other? And it's like, yes. I'm not one of those that says you can't have fun, you can't do this, you can't do that. If it's not against the Bible, I'm not gonna say that you can't do it. And so I think that helps. I think when people like with a lot of my content, people see me and they just, oh, she's just like a normal gamer. Um, and then they see that how serious I take my faith, and so you don't have to look a specific way.
I like the idea of reaching the lost, and I think it's something we all can do in varying degrees. Like I'm not gonna mention her name, but I had an OnlyFans girl on and she was talking about how she had a really hard time, like, meeting a guy and dating because so much of her time was taken up by answering DMs on OnlyFans and getting back. She said, basically all her bandwidth and all her, like, flirty banter was spent on her, essentially, customers, and she admitted that she had really
Wow.
nothing left for then trying to swipe through, or she just was really very business-minded, very successful, but she had nothing left for finding a guy. And I said, like, and not that I was judgy or shitty about it, but I talked to her in such a way. I don't know what I exactly said. I was like, I basically put it to her like, so do you think you have no time to find a guy because you're spending all of your energy or your best hours on your, I didn't say customers, but like
Yeah.
on your DMs? And she was like, yeah, I think that's what's going on. And I don't know, not that I changed her life or anything. I'm sure
But it
I'm,
could have
uh,
helped.
but
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I like talking to these girls, not to have them on to judge them. Like obviously my show on Compound Media, it's fun. It's like a little risque, but occasionally, like I don't know. I there's something. I don't think we should shun these people um,
I think they should
out of
know that there's
society.
a path to redemption. I think as society um we shouldn't be glorifying those type of behaviors. And I do think that uh so once stuff gets accepted a lot, I don't believe in degrading people or making them like specifically going after people and trying to degrade them, trying to rip them apart, trying to make them feel like they will be a loser for the rest of their lives. I don't think we should do that. I think that they do need to know, hey, this isn't a good path, and you deserve better than that. And I hope that you can be redeemed from this and find Jesus and step into your real purpose. Just like with in society in general, if we do accept a bunch of this kind of stuff, a bunch of degeneracy, then that will reflect on society as a whole. Look, whenever people started saying, stop kink shaming, stop this, that, oh, well, we need to celebrate pride and this and that. It didn't take long at all before things just got out of control because this stuff can't stay contained. And even in the Bible, we see in First Kings, Second Kings, um, the kings who the kings who were, even if they were following God, but they didn't help clean up society, if they didn't take down the Asherah poles, the idols, and they didn't stop the prostitution, then things got out of control. Israel was a mess. But the ones who were, and that again, that was even if they were Christian, the act, or if they were believers, um, followed God, believed in God. But it was extend so far beyond that for Israel to be blessed. And so that live and let live mentality didn't work for society. But then you had the kings who were like, okay, I'm a servant of God and I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to tear down these idols and I'm going to stop the prostitution because they had a rampant male prostitution at that time. I'm going to stop the prostitution. Whenever they did all that, then Israel prospered and flourished. And I think that that's a huge part of society right now. Obviously, you can't force people not to do this. You can't force people not to do that. But you can as a society shame activities without trying to humiliate people individually per se, but you can shame activities and say, you know what, prostitution is not okay, even internet prostitution, um, all of your kinks, all of this degeneracy, even pornography, this, that, and the other. We need to shame this stuff. You can't control people from never doing those things, but at least keep it in the closet because this is poisoning society and enough is enough.
It didn't always used to be this way, but I would you agree that the left is kind of just really riddled with sin at this point, and it seems like they have to stay in their bubble because it's almost like it takes if you're on the left, it takes very little for you to be kicked out of the sort of like the leftist boat. I mean, you can
Yeah.
argue the same is true on the right, if in like the trad con like circles. But I think when it comes to the left, like you have to be not just down with gay people, but the full spectrum of everything, and how as depraved as you could think of, like the full gross
When
spectrum
they
of
keep
that.
changing the rules,
Yeah.
this, that, the other. Oh, yeah, you can be whatever gender depending on the day, things like that. Um, I do think that the left is most certainly riddled with sin. They're very godless, and they for the most part pride themselves in being that. There can be some anomalies, like there can be some people who are on the left who perhaps like their economic policies or whatever. But they still are Christians. But when it comes to especially their moral policies, they are very anti Bible, anti-Christian. Not to, and even in saying this, I'm not saying that conservatives are perfect either. And I think when it comes to politics, while I am more conservative leaning, and hey, I want Trump to win, for example, but I don't put my faith in politics. I put my faith in Jesus Christ. Now, the right side does tend to uh, be more. There are a lot more Christians on the right. But that being said, you also see some of these people who are a bit extreme on the red pill side who are very godless. You see these gurus, these men telling other men that, oh yeah, be a Chad, hook up with as many women as possible. Women only have value until they're 25 years old. This, that, and the other. That's very anti-Christian. That is very godless, and that is also demonic. So yeah, the right has its fair share of a demonic influence as well, but between the two, the left is definitely a lot more riddled with it.
Right, like, shame can be positive if it's sort of tempered, if you, not necessarily like, the red pill is too much, have it maybe like a pink pill, something a little bit
Yeah.
in between. My god, Raider, thank you so much for the pink boy.
Yay, Raider!
Raider, you the best. Let me see. Do I play you a sound effect? I do. It's just a space. We're gonna fill in that space. Let me just blow through a couple of these from Andrew. Woohoo! Good to see Melanie back on your show, Chrissy. Thank you,
I'm
Andrew.
so happy.
Thank you, Mark Zarn, for the orange boy. Good afternoon, Chrissy, Melanie, Frank Jr., Muffin, Waffles. Chrissy, how is little Frank doing? Melanie, how is Toji? Are his siblings adjusting to their new little brother? Yes, you got a little bunny.
That's just so funny to me how it's like, Chrissy, how's your baby doing? And then Melanie, how's your bunny doing?
How's your baby?
He is doing great. I have him right here. He's still, a little shy, so I don't want to pick him up quite yet.
Is he in a laundry basket? What is that?
Well, it's a little playpen. It's a dog playpen,
Oh.
but it works for him. He's just doing zoomies around it not long ago. But
Oh.
yeah, I'll get in there and play with him. He lets me pet him and all that. But just easing into before I just start picking him up a lot because he's a little bitty baby. And apparently I found out I adopted him at too young. He wasn't supposed to be taken away from his mom yet.
Oh, no. So do you
I
have to
didn't
put
know
on
that
a
till
bunny
later.
costume and sort of, like, hop around so he feels like his mom is close?
Yeah, thankfully I didn't have to do anything like that. Didn't have to keep giving him milk. They said it would still be fine if I gave him just the alfalfa pellets and all that. But he's already grown so much in 1 week. I feel like he's almost doubled in size in just a week.
Oh.
So I always wanted a bunny. And I'm so happy I got one because it's so different. I grew up with dogs and cats, and I have a cat and a dog, and I love them to pieces. But getting a bunny it's different, and
Bunnies are so
it's
sweet.
they're really cute. They're really like you, especially if you get a good breed that likes people. And I did with him. He's a little lion head.
Lion head.
Yes,
Aw.
he's really fluffy.
I wanted a bunny too growing up, but I was very much told not to. Like, I was told
Really?
bunnies are so high maintenance, they're so easily
Well,
scared, they shit everywhere.
so many people tell, don't get a bunny, don't get a bunny. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And that's why it took me this long to finally get a bunny because I was so scared of it. But now it's like, okay, I get it. They definitely are more work than a cat or a dog, but it's not too bad. And a bunny can be litter or like potty trained, most of them. Now, he's still so
You can hop
little
up
that
onto the toilet?
well, you can get like a box, like a
Aw.
yeah, like a litter box type thing, but you don't put cat litter in it. You put like pine shavings or something. And then if you put their
That's
hay,
cute.
yeah, if you put your hay next to it in their food, because they like to poop where they eat, which is unusual. But then they'll learn to use that. And so a lot of people free roam their bunnies. So they'll be like roaming around the house and then they'll just go to their box to
Wow.
poop. But with little Toji here, he's such a little baby. He's not it's too soon to start potty training him. But I just twice a day, every morning, every evening, I have this little broom and dustpan. I just sweep up all the poop and the loose hay, throw it in the garbage bag. It takes like a couple minutes. And the poops aren't like gross. They're like hard little pellets. So
They're not
it's like
flashy or
yeah,
messy,
they're
they're,
not
like,
sticky
contained.
and all that. So it's really easy. and then I just have the little pads, I don't know, blanket pad things that, once or twice a week you throw those in the
Oh, yeah, the pee-pee
laundry.
pads. We have those
Yeah.
for the dog. Oh, they have reusable ones too. Are you envisioning a world where the bunny and your cat and your dog all coexist, loose, free range?
Mhm. I just before I can do that, well, once he gets comfortable, but I also have to bunny proof like any cords, got to put like this rubber thingy
Oh,
around so that he can't chew through the cord. So I've got some bunny proofing I need to do at the house, but I
bunny proofing.
definitely plan on letting him roam around the house and yeah,
That's
I
so
think it'd be
cute.
really cute. Yeah.
Similar to, like, our tortoise, like, he likes to poop where he eats, and
Yeah.
his poops are kind of, like, contained, tidy turds. They're not, like, splashy or running, like, they're not you could pick it up and
Right.
wash your hands, but it's not like you're picking up
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel with the little bunny poops. It's like, "Oh, okay, I missed one, just pick it up, throw it away, wash my hands." It's not like picking up a dog poop.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you're handing a dog crap. Uh, yeah, sometimes the dogs have, like, a real runny one, and you have to be like, "What
Oh,
did
that
you eat?"
happened with my dog yesterday. Oh my goodness. I had to give her a butt bath because she had sticky poop, but it was all over her fur and oh, it's gross.
The dingleberries, do you have to, like sometimes I'll
Yeah.
grab a napkin and I'll, like, have to pull it out.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's motherhood, guys. Daniel Tiger, isn't that the Electra and Oedipus complex, daddy's girl and mama's boy? Hmm, they do talk about that. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah, if you're I'll say yes. I'll say you're right, Daniel. Uh,
know.
Lancer, Melanie, did you like my Master Chief pic I tweeted you?
I must have missed it. Oh
Oh,
no.
no.
I get so many replies and hate and I don't
Mostly
see a
hate.
lot of it. Mostly hate. It's a bunch of really loud troons, so it's like I don't see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you gotta sift through for the positive stuff.
Yeah.
Kaku Toji Road, hail to 2 most based babes on the internet. In fact, Melanie is more based than a Thanksgiving
Oh,
turkey.
thank you. I
Aw.
try.
I could do a turkey noise if I practice. Corrigan. Oh, what's Czar currency? Is that like
Oh, interesting.
I'll have to all love to see beauty if make pee pee hard or lips wet, it's not sin. We're still all animals, but not being rapist is key. I agree with Jeremy.
Well,
Yeah.
it's about what your mindset with it too, because like it's if for example, if I were to see a super hot dude and I'm just like, oh, he's hot, but if I were to be like, ooh, let me imagine him undressing and this and that, like that's when it would be lust. But just seeing someone acknowledging, oh, that's an attractive person, that's normal. But it's about what, and when it comes to sin, it's about, okay, what are you doing with your brain? Or are you dwelling
What's
on,
your
are you
intention?
continuing to what you're, yeah, exactly.
The Czar, by the way, I just looked it up, is the South African rand
Oh,
currency.
interesting. That sounds
Yeah,
like some sort of video game currency.
it does. It doesn't sound real. Deranged lunatic Melanie, how's your baby bunny doing? Oh.
Amazing.
How long is he gonna live?
Like, up to 7, 8 years, I think.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm stoked about it.
More than a hamster, not as much as a dog.
Right. I feel like it's a good balance because, like, hamsters, my goodness, I had a hamster once, but he only died, he died after like 4 months, which was way too short. I don't know. I got him at a pet
Oh.
store. And I just was like, dude, I got this thing just long enough to break my heart. That's, but I had gerbils who lived to be like 2, 3. I think one of them lived almost 3 years. The others lived like 2 years, which was pretty normal life expectancy. But I thought that's too short. It, you need
Yeah.
longer than that.
It's annoying. You spend money on all this stuff and you're like, "At least, like,
I know
don't
you
die."
love them, and then it's like, I only got 2 years with that. Like, you need a little more than that.
Yeah, our pandemic tortoise is going strong. He's what? Like, I think we got him well, we must have gotten him in 2020, so he's 4 now. And he's huge. He's, like, bigger than a hand size. He's like a big hamburger. He used to be, like, this big,
Aw,
and he came in, like, a little box from,
how cute.
I forget what I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the country. They flew him here. The Magna Defender were 4 years in, and the mainstream media refuses to let go of a cold. Guys, COVID is 100% over. 99% of America is done with it. STFU and move on already. My goodness. Oh,
For
yeah,
real.
there's accounts where they said, like, in China, it was basically considered over, like, June, maybe the spring of 2020 or something like that.
And somebody tweeted I wish I remember who tweeted it, but they said, "Has anybody received any sort of apology from friends or family who gave you a hard time for not complying with all that stuff?" And he was like, "It didn't happen with me. It didn't happen with me either. I had people who I was friends with for over a decade who threw me under the bus and called me every mean name in the book because I wouldn't get the jab. And I don't see their apology. Heck, I don't even know if they're alive right now after all the boosters they got."
Yeah, no apologies for anybody. Ooh,
Yeah.
thank you, Andrew, for the pink
Andrew.
one. Ooh, that reminds me. This is for the bunny fund, Melanie. Oh,
Chrissy's got a bunny fund now. Now you have to get a bunny.
me. Oh my god, I'm afraid of
It's a
being.
lot of work. You're already working real hard with being a mom.
I
Maybe in a
wonder
few years.
I wonder at what age the bean is gonna just start, like, terrorizing the dogs, like, pulling their
I
tails and stuff,
know.
but I kind of can't wait for that.
Oh, my nephew, he's 2, and, when he's visiting my parents, I go over there to spend time with him. He loves the puppies, but he'll walk up to him and go like, "Oh,
Aw.
puppy," and he'll just touch it like that and then run off.
Yeah,
But
I
the
like the
sad
kind of too hard little
just
kid
yeah.
pat, like the
Puppy. But the sad thing is though, is that their dogs don't like babies that much. One of them, she's fine,
oh.
but the other ones would be like,
Oh, that's cute.
yeah.
I love animals. Push-ups. Mel, if it's not too personal, can I ask how your folks reacted to your agnostic phase? How did you come back to your faith?
I mean, they didn't like it, but they were praying for me and they still loved me. They had plenty of talks with me and but the way my mom described it is she just had faith in knowing that because there's that Bible verse. I wish I need to memorize this because I bring it up multiple times. But like raise your kids in the way they should go and they will not depart from it. And so she just put her faith in that and knowing that she'll be back. She'll be back. This is
Mm.
just a phase right now. She'll be back. So they kept praying for me. And I mean, we did have some headbutt moments. Um, but families do sometimes. We got through it. And then I came back to my faith. Like what people ask me all the time, what made you come back to your faith? And it wasn't just a specific event. It was just kind of a realization I had at one point where I was like, I know that the Bible is right. I know that morally speaking, I can't just go out and live a sinful life. It feels icky to me. I can't go out and do that. So if I know, and if I'm still living by the principles that the Bible has, that my parents taught me through the Bible, then what am I doing being rebellious about it? And so for the first year, I kind of kept it on the low key. I didn't even really tell anybody when I came back to Jesus, accepted Jesus again. I didn't even tell anybody for about a year. And at that time, I was either engaged or married. I was from and he wasn't a Christian. And so then there was that
Mm.
obstacle of like, how do I bring this up to him? And so I went like a year not telling almost anybody. And then it was a slow progression. Then after about that amount of time, I started sharing a Bible verse here and there, but I would only share the fluffy, nice ones. I wouldn't share the more like, okay, the conviction ones. And then I was trying to do Christianity my way where I was like, okay, I want to come back to my faith, but I still want to be an ally to all this and that. I still want to justify this, that, or the other. And that's what I did at first. And then then I went through hell with a divorce and all that entails. And then after that was all done, and all that, I committed myself to okay, I was like, I remember when I was a teenager, because I knew I could tell that my faith wasn't nearly as strong as it used to be when I was younger. And I thought, hey, when I was a teenager, I used to be um really strong in my faith. But I was reading my Bible every single day. So I was like, I need to start reading the Bible every day, no exception. Treat it just like, I need to eat food every day. Okay, I'm going to read the Bible every day. And so it changed my life, and it didn't even take that long. The more I kept growing and growing, I mean, the first month even, I noticed a dramatic difference in my faith, and it just kept progressing from there. And that's when I started to see, okay, I shouldn't be justifying sin. I shouldn't be trying to be an ally in this and that. I can still love people and hope that they get through it, but it's not loving to justify people in their sin and clap as they're on their way to walking off cliff. And that's what I realized I was doing. And also it just took humbling, because I was like, hey, I don't make the rules. If I see
Right.
something that I wouldn't do, or that I don't necessarily like, do I like it that certain things are a sin? No, I don't like that. But I didn't create the universe. God did. And God knows best. And so it took me humbling myself to that, and reading the Bible daily to really change my life.
How do you know what to read in the Bible? Like, how do you jump around? It seems kind of daunting, and I feel like I've asked you this before, to just like open it up and just go, "Here's one, here we go."
Some people do that, but for me, I find it's important just to read it in order. And some people are even like, "Oh, just start with the New Testament because that's what applies to today." But first of all, a lot of the Old Testament still does apply, but also what's the reading the Old Testament first gives you full context and full understanding of why we need Jesus. So, if you're just going to skip ahead to, okay, this is about Jesus and this is what Jesus did. Well, if you're going to skip all the Old Testament, you're going to skip what society was like before Jesus came. You're going to miss all the foreshadowing. There's tons of foreshadowing that shows you we need a savior. And then it builds up to, I mean, you even have prophecy in the Old Testament. And so, yeah, I think just start at the beginning and keep reading through. And that's what I've done. And I think that's the best way to read the Bible. But as long as you're reading the Bible in general, that's always a good thing, because ultimately what you're getting out of it isn't only, oh, I'm reading something that's applying to me in this moment. There are so many times I read the Bible that whatever I read doesn't apply to me in that moment, but I still feel the Holy Spirit, because it's fellowship
Hmm.
with God. And that
And you're
grows your faith
trying.
immensely. Yeah. So it's just like, imagine if you're trying to strengthen your relationship with your husband, for example. Spending time together is a good way to do that. And it doesn't mean that every time you have to be talking about this topic or that topic, or you have to be talking about whatever you're going through in that moment. It's just the act of being together that is growing your
Yeah.
relationship. And so with God, it's the same way. Reading the Bible is like, okay, this is fellowship with God right now.
Yeah. Start with 5 minutes, start with 10 minutes. Particular, or do you have a favorite version of the Bible? Um, or one that you recommend for beginners, versus is there even
Right.
like an advanced version of the
I
Bible?
would say so. I mean, it's all ultimately the mainstream translations are, from what I've read, within like 99% accuracy of each other. Some people are very King James Version purists. That's the only one. And I think the King James Version is incredible. It's amazing. But a lot of people who are not used to reading the Bible struggle with it because it's written in Old English. So I think I always, and what I've done with my Bible channel, because I'm trying to reach the lost, is I read New Living Translation. That is the easiest one I've read to understand, just NLT, New Living Translation. And I have, because there are times where I've read a verse and then I look at it in a New Living Translation and it's like, oh, wait, I didn't understand this verse when I was trying to read it in Old English, but now I understand it more. And I've seen people tell me that when I've shared stuff in the NLT. So I think definitely read the NLT, or ESV is a good one as well, for the beginners. And then if you want to jump into different translations, like the King James version, for example, you can do that later.
Yeah, and it seems most of your videos are NLT.
Yep, they are, all of them. I'm reading through the entire Bible NLT, and then I'm trying to figure out after that, am I just going to make Bible themed videos, or am I going to read the Bible over again in another translation and keep doing that with the different ones. We'll see. I'm figuring that out.
Cool. Cool. Very cool. John Thomas says, speaking of OF girls, what up with the girl who said she quit after accepting Christ? Oh, I think that was Nala who we talked about. It seems like she's still chugging along. I don't think she's been
Yeah,
like quitting.
I believe I believe her. I think her conversion was real.
We're giving it the thumbs up. M for your mom. Melanie defended Nick bald over Kate and neglecting his kids and letting men screw his wife. Why is she okay with his coke habits too?
I feel like people just keep making up retarded narratives. Like
Yeah.
I said I'm praying for him and I hope he gets better. And
How dare you pray for some?
just like, and they're like, oh, well, you always call out the F slurs and this and that. I don't go after people individually and shame them. Now, I'll defend myself against people who come after me, but am I going after people in their personal lives? That's not my style. I don't do that. But I will, for example, I will speak out against, hey, shouldn't be doing coke. Hey, you shouldn't be sharing your wife. This, that, or the other. Yeah, I'll speak out about that as a whole. But in terms of Nick Rekieta, first of all, I don't know that situation. All I know is based off of internet gossip. I don't like gossip because I don't know what really happened. And secondly, I do pray that him and his him and his wife and all of them get better, and that the kids can benefit from that. Because ultimately, wishing for the kids to be put in a foster home or whatever, that's not good for that would not be the ideal scenario. And so, as someone who has met him before, I never was close with Nick and his wife or anything, but I met him and his wife. And so I care about them as human beings and I want the best for them. And I pray that I know, for example, I'm pretty sure Nick has a Christian background. Well, I pray that he can come back to Christ and that he can, if any of this stuff that has been going around is true, I pray that he can get better, and I pray that his family can be happy and Christ-centered family. I wouldn't wish bad on anybody, including him.
Yeah. And that's ultimately the best thing for the kids too, because
Yeah.
they do belong with their parents.
Yep.
Andrew, bring back the D penalty. That'll take her smile away.
The D penalty sounds like it could be something
It does.
else.
Sounds like a name of a porn, actually. The D penalty. That actually could be great.
That's
Dark
hilarious.
Side would love. Hey, ladies, I came to simp. What did I miss? Did Melanie say fagate yet? Keep up the great content, both of you. Hail Simcast, hail F&T, and go boom.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw your were those stickers at the Rippaverse meetup?
Yes, I still have. I can send you one if you want.
Please, I would love to put it
I
on my
have some
laptop.
extras. Yeah, I'll send.
Yes.
It's a print, not a sticker, but
Oh, okay.
I will send you one. I would love to do
Ooh, I
that.
love that. John Thomas, Melanie, some troll clipped you eating butter and talking about crazy people, trying to imply that you were the crazy one.
That's what's funny is a lot of these libtards, they just lack any sort of capability to understand humor. That wasn't just a clip. That was me deliberately making that video. And that was part of the humor of it because I was going to speak out about, oh, look at all this craziness going on in society while I was in my car eating a stick of butter, which would be seen as crazy. So
I remember that video.
That was the joke. And so it's hilarious when these idiots will be like, oh, gotcha. You're an idiot because aren't you the problem because you're eating a stick of butter in the car? Don't you think that's crazy? It's like, oh, that's the joke.
That's just something leftists don't understand. They can't laugh at themselves because they perceive laughing at yourself as a sign of weakness, or it's like that someone can poke holes in their persona, and everyone can be laughed at.
That's why all their memes are so wordy. They don't have a sense of humor at all. First of all, because true humor, somebody's got to be the butt of the joke, really. In this case, it was myself. So like you said, they can't laugh at themselves, but also they can't laugh at, I mean, they'll try to dunk on Christians or Republicans, but they don't know what they're doing. But they can't They have to walk on eggshells not to offend people so much that they can't really be that funny. If you have to be worried about offending this person or that person, you can't truly be that funny. That's why, like, just think of any friend group or whatever that uptight when you're around people who are offended all the time. You have to be uptight, and it's like, oh, I can't say this, they'll be offended. I can't say that, they'll be offended. Those are not fun people to be around. But it's really fun to be around people where you could just joke around. You can say whatever slurs you want. You could do this, and everybody's just having a good time.
Right, and it's temporary. It doesn't mean like you're that thing or that insult forever.
I know.
George Seinfeld, I'm lusting after Melanie Mac. Lord forgive me for I have sinned.
Don't do
Ooh.
that, George. Don't.
Avert your eyes. Oh, what's up, young Pei Chang, my only Asian fan? What's up, gals? Have a good weekend for all the dads we know. Yes, big weekend coming up. It's Frank's birthday. It's Father's Day. And it's also our wedding anniversary on the 17th. So
Aw.
a lot of
Nice.
coming the way of the filing cabinet. Caffeine and sleeping pills. Keep up the faith, Melanie. Love in Christ.
Thank you.
Steel Wrath. Hey, Chrissy, we just had a baby girl 3 weeks ago, and it's the greatest experience of my life. Congrats on Frankie Jr. and ABD. Always be dabbling. Steel, I wonder what side of the hole you were on for the birth. Did you stay by her head, or did you go looking into the eye of the storm? I'm very curious. Frank saw more than he wanted to, and sorry about that. The doctors really called him over and told him to hold a leg, and he was passing the doctors like rules and shit. Like he was really working. So he might have been a little traumatized from the birth. It's fine. We all were. K-Max, what was Melanie's view of the conservative beer calendar? Josie, the redheaded libertarian. Chrissy guest. Oh, a Chrissy guest was in it. Was it not offensive?
I personally, and like, no shade to Josie. I think Josie's great. But I think it's the actual, and I spoke about this. I don't like the idea of the calendar. More so than having a problem with the women who were asked to participate in it. I have a problem with the person who organized it, because if you really want to label something as conservative values, then creating a product that was designed for men to lust after that's not that. Also, it was the Christian imagery that was put in it that also rubbed me the wrong way. So, for example, if they advertise this as a completely secular calendar that was only political, okay, whatever, go for it. But if you're going to put Christian imagery in it, and a calendar that is designed to make people lust, not that every image in it was lustful. I think Josie's image was just fine, very tasteful. She was wearing a dress, like, but there were some images in it, like a bubble bath, or like, a lot more scantily clad. But a lot of them, most of them, I'd say weren't. But it's the intent behind it that I think matters the most. And I personally didn't like it, but
So you think if they shied away from, if they took out the Christian, like they took out the cross, any kind of Christian
right.
imagery, and kept it kind of secular, kept it maybe like tongue in cheek without any religious undertones, you would have
I
been
wouldn't
fine
I
with
wouldn't have cared. I would have thought it was cringe, but I wouldn't have cared.
that.
Yeah.
Junior, I miss Chrissy's quarterly Texas trips. It felt like you were missing at the Rippaverse meetup. It was fun seeing Melanie and Lila
I
at the
know, I
event.
wish you could have been there, but I mean, you got mom duties. But yeah.
Goodies, for real. Yeah, I put on this like structured carrier today, and I put the baby in it for 10 minutes, and I'm like, I don't know how people like travel around like this, like large distances, because
Right.
busting, like, I don't know, like 15 minutes he was good, and then he fell asleep and he drooled like all over. It was
Oh.
cute. It was really cute. Dreams Lunatic. A gerbil has a short lifespan in San Francisco. Yes, yes, it does. Oh my God. Isn't that true? San Francisco is a bad place for a gerbil to live.
You don't want to be a gerbil there.
Don't. In fact, I'm going to tweet that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is hilarious.
You don't. I haven't live tweeted from the show and stuff, but you don't want to be a gerbil living in San Francisco. That's for sure. That's great. Let's see if people get it. Probably not. Okay.
I
Jeremy is
got it.
gay. Thank you for the dollar. Matthew Hammond, what's up? The traditional left-right dynamic in the U.S. has changed. It is globalists left that hate the U.S. and think that they have to force change on the rest of us versus people that like the U.S. and like the 90s. Right.
Yeah.
Nationalism has become some kind of a four-letter word. Being a patriot has become a four-letter word. Having a flag is some sort of
I know it's seen
partisan.
as offensive now. I think
Yeah.
that the left would be much more palatable if they were at least patriotic. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, how do you expect Americans to want to be on your side if you don't even love your country? Then what are you even doing here then? Instead of just staying here wanting to change everything and hating the country, then why are you even here?
Yeah, go live in Palestine. No one is stopping you. Go fucking do that. Go drape yourself in whatever. Taking back the rainbow, Melanie, what version of the Bible do you recommend? Okay, so this
Yeah.
must have been before you
Beginners NLT, I think, and then more advanced. Go ahead, dive into that King James version.
that's the real deal. Junior, skipping the Old Testament is like not watching Cheers and just jumping into Frasier.
I love that.
That's
That's
funny.
hilarious.
It's like playing the clarinet before you play the saxophone. You need
Right,
to
or
have
it's just
done.
like watching the Return of the King, and that's the only Lord of the Rings film you watch. Like, you didn't even watch The Fellowship or Two Towers. It's like,
That's really funny, Junior. You actually should tweet that. I'll retweet it. That's funny.
yeah.
John Thomas, new KGV. Wow, I can't read. KJV updates the language without changing.
Oh, New King James Version. That was the first. When I was a teenager, I read through the whole Bible. I read it New King James Version. Yeah, which is also good. I liked it.
What happened to the old King James?
The old King James still there, but it's a lot more difficult, even for myself who grew up in a Christian household. When I read regular King James, I use a Bible app a lot, and you could switch through translations on that, which is amazing. It's free
There's a
app too.
Bible app?
Yep, it's the YouVersion Bible app. It's completely free. I use
Ooh.
that for on my Bible channel, I use a physical Bible, and I have like 7 Bibles. But in my day-to-day reading, I just like to get the app out. And if there's a verse that I look at, sometimes it's like, oh, let me dive in deeper on this. There's just a little tab where you can change the translation on the fly, and you can get a lot more out of it. For me, it's just like, okay, I want to. And there's been times where I've read like something out of the King James, and then it's like, I don't know if I quite understand this. And then I put it in like a New Living Translation or ESV, and it's like, oh,
They
uh,
break it down a little better.
yeah. And I read ESV. That's my current read through has been ESV, and then my Bible channels NLT.
Cool. I love that. Oh, Steel Wrath. I was helping hold up a leg. It was fine. Wife is a champ. I even got to cut the cord. Oh, cool. Good for
Aw, how
you.
cute.
Oh, I wonder what that's like. Does it feel like you're cutting through like a bike chain or Jeremy is gay. That is all. Thank you, darling. Matthew Hammond, what is the best butter? Are you following the forever chemicals in the wrapping of some
You're
of
right.
them?
Some of them with the aluminum style wrapping can get some chemicals in it. I personally like Kerrygold butter the best in terms of store-bought butter, but my mom will make butter out of their dairy cow's milk sometimes, and that's really good.
Oh,
But if you're gonna buy butter, that Kerrygold is amazing.
you should be sponsored by them. I'm sure not
I
the worst
wish, but I'm
person.
too offensive.
Andrew, thanks for the 10. When I said D penalty, I meant death penalty, but
We
but
know it.
YouTube won't allow me to say the word. Also, I was driving and I meant it for that evil woman that did that thing to the child.
we
Oh
we
God, yeah, she
we
deserves
get
the
it.
D
It's okay.
penalty.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Andrew. You're funny. Sunny Hard Melanie, would you call your future husband your word in a loving way? What about before that? Would it be a requirement to filter potential suitors?
I'm gonna assume you mean what I call my future husband the F slur, joking around
Oh,
and stuff. I mean, it depends. If he didn't like it, I wouldn't. But sometimes, like, sometimes just for fun, if we're playing a video game or something. Yeah, why not?
Was your coming back to your religion part of the reason why you got divorced, or was that kind of already
It was part of
underway?
it. It was part of it because he was not having it, and he told me before, "Oh, if you ever want to come back to your faith, just so you know, I'll support that." But then when push came to shove, he didn't like it, and he said, "You know
Wow.
what? I think we're drifting and we're on different paths in life, and I don't like this." Uh, and that was his feels on it.
Ugh.
And then there were other elements too, involving other people, not on my side.
Ugh.
Not on my
That
side.
sucks.
Uh,
That
so
sucks. I'm sorry.
it was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. John Thomas. Melanie, you should collab with Mary Mayhem. She's on her own journey back to Christ.
Oh, I don't know who she is, but I'd be happy to talk
She
to her.
sounds, just based on the name,
That's
like
amazing.
a roller derby person.
Yeah.
Bulk squat thrust. They are Bolsheviks that hate everything the US was founded on and all symbols thereof. It's why they tear down statues, hate the flag, etc. Yeah, correct. You are correct, sir. My goodness, there was a kind of a viral rant this week by someone who a lot of you know I guess a lot of people were trying to put her on my radar, and I
Mhm.
was kind of like ignoring it. I was like, I don't really know who this person is. And her name's Alyssa Mercanti, and I looked her up, and first of all, I'm blocked, which is wild
She
because
blocked everybody
I've
who's
never
associated
I
with.
had not heard of this girl. I'd never spoken to her. I was like, why am I preemptively blocked? What's
It's gotta
going
be because
on?
'cause we're friends. Because she's
And
had
then
a hate boner against me for, like, a year and a
and then
half
I
now.
found out about the hate boner for you. So how
Yeah.
did that come about?
Well, at first, I think because I was on my Go Boom videos, I was criticizing some of the Kotaku articles. I didn't know who the crap she was. I just, but I was talking about some Kotaku articles, apparently, one of them that she wrote or something. And then there was another tweet that Kotaku made about something about, oh, you need to respect women in video games or something along those lines, which was retarded. And I quote tweeted it and I quote tweeted Kotaku, not her. And I said, Kotaku is gay. And then she quote tweeted me and she was challenging me to a fight. And at that time, I was like, who
Oh,
even
wow.
is this? Like, I was like, this is just some nobody, like, what? Journal for Kotaku, and I just disregarded it. I think I mentioned it in my video, and I was like, "That's stupid. Uh, I'm not gonna fight her. That's just retarded." And so anyway, that's where it started. And then she came back after me. I don't know. It's been like 3 months. I don't know, a couple months or so ago, and she was like, secretly trying to make a hit piece on me, but she wasn't outright saying Melanie Mac. She was like, "Oh, a certain streamer who is really into her faith right now. Can I get people to interview and to talk to about her?" She's trying to dig up dirt on me. She's trying to
Wow.
yeah. She's like, "Is there anybody from her past that will talk to me?" Something along those lines. So she was really just trying to do a hit piece on me, and
Yikes.
then I quote tweeted her and I was like, if you really wanted to know about me, you could have just contacted me yourself. But alas, that's not what you've done. And so then she's like, oh, I was meaning to send you an email actually, but I got really busy, which was a total lie. So then she emails
Wow.
me. She's like, how do you want to do this? I was like, hey, I'll hop on video and talk to you. Um, and then she ended up blocking me. So then she blocked me. I'm like, okay, I don't think you have good intentions with this. You're blocking me. You're talking bad about me behind a block, and you want to act like you want a good faith interview. That's just not what's going on here. So she wanted to pretend like I was some nobody who just skyrocketed to popularity because I became a Christian and started grifting on it, which
Hmm.
anybody who knows my history knows that's not true. And I sent her a long email about it. And I was like, look, I'm not going to talk to you because this is in bad faith. You've already blocked me and you're talking bad about me behind a block. But just so you know a little bit about my history, I spent over a decade in the gaming industry, hosting for huge companies like Riot Games, Disney Channel on TV, GameStop TV, Walmart Game Center. I couldn't even, like, I
Wow.
spent a decade. That was my career. And I had a thriving career doing that. And whenever I spoke out against the jab mandates, I started being forward with my Christianity, all this and that got me blacklisted from the industry. So
Right.
to call out, oh, he was a nobody who got famous because of your Christian. No, I threw everything away that I built up so that I could be outspoken about this stuff because I was sick of what's going on in society right now. So that was that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm particularly interested in people who knew this person before their
Yeah.
sharp rise in popularity. How gross. Ugh.
Yeah.
And then she had that kind of viral rant. Oh, it's pretty insufferable. Let me
She's
see.
trying to imitate Anita Sarkeesian and she's trying to imitate Frosk, but she's dumber than both of them. And I know to say she's dumber than Frosk, I know that's hard to believe someone can be dumber than Frosk, but she is. Thing is Anita Sarkeesian, I disagree with her on so many levels, but she's not dumb. She just has ridiculous opinions. Frost
Who's
Frost
Anita
dumb.
Sarkeesian?
She's this feminist who, like back in 2013, did this crowdfunding campaign for what she called feminist frequency. And it was to create a series of videos talking about how the gaming industry and the video games are anti-feminist and how this, that, and misogyny in gaming. And she's partially responsible for why the gaming industry took that turn and started uglifying their female characters and so on and so forth. So she's been a real demon in the industry. But at least she has some brain cells. But then you had Frosk, who not so much with in the brain cell department, but at the very least, she believed in what she was saying. I think it was stupid, but she believed in what she was saying. Well, now you've got
Yeah.
Alyssa Mercanti, who's trying to copy both of them out of sheer desperation because Kotaku is 1 foot in the grave right now. It's on life support. It won't exist. And I think she feels like, okay, gossiping about other content creators and being loud and obnoxious and all this stuff, this could generate clicks and views and this could save us. But she lacks the intelligence to really do that. And also she's a coward. So how much, if you really want to be this edgy, oh yeah, well, and then you're blocking everyone you're talking bad about, you're a coward. It's not going to work. She's not smart. I don't even know. She doesn't know anything about video games.
Wow, just like Frosk. No.
Yeah.
Frosk knew a little.
She knew a little. Alyssa knows nothing. She cares more just about characters being gay and having gay sex in a video game. She cares more about that than actual games. And so she taunts people, asking people to fight this, that, or the other. But then when it comes to anybody taking her up on anything, like even when I did on, okay, I'll video call you about this, then she blocks me. She blocks everybody who will take her up on her smack talk. It just shows that she's a wuss and a coward.
Wow. And so here is the set. I'm not even sure what set this is on.
They're trying to recreate the Frosk interview, basically.
It looks like a 70s porno set. Like this guy with the mustache is keeping in the theme.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it smells musty.
You know what I want? What you really, really want? I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.
Got the soy boys seal clapping. And the irony
like cartoon.
I know the irony of this statement is the fact that, oh, she wants to act like, oh, why are you being mean? Why are you being mean? This woman, if you want to call her that, has come after people, has literally one dude, she contacted his wife to try to cause, I know, that smug.
I have to practice this space. Yeah.
She contacted his wife to try to cause problems in his marriage. She has called for people to, all these people on the internet who are saying these things that we don't like, contact their family members, cause problems with that. Don't you think that's bullying? Don't you think that's mean? But we're mean because we say, hey, maybe I don't want my favorite character race swapped, or hey, maybe I don't want Lara Croft to look ugly or like a dude.
Right.
It's
Yikes.
absurd.
Oh my goodness.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me physically, bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
She looks. This is laughable because, like I've said on Twitter, she's very confident for somebody built like Elliot Page. I don't know.
I know.
She thinks she could beat in a fight.
And here's the thing: is everyone that she has challenged to a fight, she's blocked. So they're cowards. No, they haven't, because they're cowards. You're the coward because you blocked everyone you challenged to a fight. How can they fight you if you blocked them? And so then Vera Dark, do you know who Vera Dark is?
Yes. Yeah.
She's amazing. She's like, okay. She quote tweets her and she's like, sure, I'll fight you. Let's make this happen. I'll put in $1,000 into this. Whoever loses has to admit this, that, or the other. And she had actual stakes on the table. And she even got Keemstar involved. They were going to have a venue set up. They were all going to do it. And Alyssa Mercanti backed out, blocked her, then backed out. Because she's the coward. She's projecting so hard when she calls people cowards because she blocks everybody who offers any sort of resistance against her.
Oh, it's going to be live streamed for your bigoted followers or your bigoted viewers. No, thanks.
Yeah, she's a coward. Because she did for her own venue.
Maybe she could take this lady here in the salmon colored fupa on the end here. Maybe she could fight everyone in this room. She hangs out with a lot of high BMIs.
Yup.
Yeah, she's not living in reality, and everyone's just kind of.
And I tweeted this whole video, and I was like, wouldn't a real gamer thing to do to be challenging someone in a game? More so than fight me physically. Well, why didn't she ask people to fight her in Smash Bros? Because she's not a gamer. She would get her butt kicked.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, no girl is gonna fight her, and no guy's gonna fight her. You're like, what are we doing here? She sounds like a child. I
know. Plus, if anybody touches her, they might get chlamydia or something. So it's like, don't want to risk that.
Or get the lesbian disease. Project Taco. Warm girl, a Christian-based goth mommy and a Texan want to go to the range, ma. Also, do you like brown boys?
That's a lot. That's a lot. I do love going to the range. I really don't care what race somebody is. It's just not a factor to me.
Good for you. I wish I could say the same. No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a couple exceptions.
Ashton said she's looking into Christianity. Well, we'll just see about that.
Aw.
I hope she does. Bulk Squad Thrust. Anita Sarkeesian was a total grifter. She didn't even finish the series she took Kickstarter funding for. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. She didn't finish the series. She got the money for it. And first of all, it took her an eternity to even make the videos that she did. But yeah, it was all a cash out for her. None of it was actually about passion for the industry. She already admitted that she, wasn't a gamer. So it was just a financial opportunity for her. She got her money and bounced.
Wow. She sucks. Sunny Hard R. There's a time I would be 100% with your name calling and racial ones too. I'm sorry you had edited pics of you released. I'm sure you look even better.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I agree. MK Solid. Melanie, is your doorbell working? What the fuck?
My gun works, if that's what you wanted to know.
Oh, snap. What a creepy thing to do. It would be great if Bear Dark was on FNT and have Chrissy show up as Alyssa.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I think the guest this Friday is Chris Gore, who I have not. Well, I mean, I've texted him a little bit, but apparently he had a little bit of a stroke recently. So
I didn't even know about that for a while. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope so too. They've been making fun of him for it, so I guess he's in good spirits about it. But that's
yeah,
poor guy. I hope he'll be all right.
He's great.
Yeah, I'll send him an edible arrangement. Okay. The stream is we're redirecting to Adam Krigler. So when you get to Krigler's live stream, just say, I don't know.
Call him a F slur.
Say chirp.
Just
Yeah,
say
F slurs.
slur. Just say
Yeah.
F slur.
Yeah.
You don't
Like,
want to get banned on YouTube.
Yes, call him the F slur. Don't spell it out though. F slur raid. Melanie, thank you so much. My God, the time has flown by. Thank you so much for spending the time and chatting. And I miss you, and I think you're great.
I miss you. I'm so happy we got to talk.
Oh, yeah. I have to. I don't know. I want you to meet the bean. I don't know how I'm gonna make that happen.
I would love that.
Tell
We'll
the
figure something
people.
out.
We will. What is coming up for you this week, and where can people follow you?
All right, you guys can find me on YouTube at Melanie Mac Go Boom, or my Bible channel at Bible Time with Melanie Mac. Also on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm live with the Quartering on Quartercast Live on YouTube, or on Rumble, just the Quartering. So yeah, hope to see you guys there.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie, and thank you to the chat. You guys had good questions. You were very well behaved today.
Amazing.
Amazing. You guys get a chirp. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.